Can you talk about what a difficult place this was to play for you guys last year, the atmosphere in this building?
Yeah, I mean, they had it packed out. Everybody was excited. We're coming in there. We were a ranked team. We were number 9 in the country, and it'll be a similar atmosphere tonight, or come Thursday. Probably even more hyped had we won on Sunday, but it'll still be hyped because we're the only team that's beaten them in the league so far. And
the last team to beat them, period.
Yeah, and the last team to beat them, period. So I'm sure they'll be packed house. They'll have every promotion going there is. Not that they need it, but it's a great opportunity for us to play in a great basketball environment and go get some redemption.
Looked like Kennedy was still finding his way when you guys played the first time. How different are they now that he's back to the level that he was last year?
Well, he gives them another low post scorer, guy that you got to guard Barrera, you got to guard him. I mean, he makes them. He's a problem. He's a problem down there because he can score, and he's a good passer. He likes to pass as well as he does, scoring it. So it just gives him another weapon in the half court.
You look at the league stats; they're like number 1 or number 2 in almost every category, offense and defense. How much of a challenge is it to play this team? It seems like they do everything well.
Well, they do. I mean, they score a lot of points, off transition, off steals. They're probably the best in the league at running on missed shots. I mean, they get the ball out and go, and they get it on top of you quick. And so you got to be good in transition defense. And then, because Larry Brown, who he is, he's a stickler on execution. So they're gonna execute their half court stuff and run it and run it and run it. They're not going to take too many bad shots. So you got to be prepared to defend for 35 seconds, and then in the offensive end, and this is a game you can't turn the ball over. You can't turn the ball over and give them these opportunities. That's probably the best thing we did here. Early in the game, we turned it over a little bit, and then here, as the game progressed, we settled down. We got shots every time. We not got great shots every time, but we at least got a shot and had a chance to rebound it. And you didn't give them. It's a lot easier to stop them in transition off a missed shot than it is off a steal. That's for sure. And we got to be precise in what we do offensively, and it's going to be a physical game. They, particularly at their place, last year. Justin couldn't catch the ball in the post, and you can say, well, they fouled us or whatever, and probably did, but it's how they play, so they're not going to call every foul. I mean, that's just they can't. I mean, officials can't. The game would be ruined. They're going somewhat. They always adjust, I think, somewhat to the physicality of the game both ways. So it's got to be, we got to be prepared on the offensive end to fight for position, to fight for rebounds. If we're going to have a chance to score against them, and we can't turn the ball over and give them layups, and we better run the ball some. When we get misses, we better push it and see if we can't get some stuff in transition.
How important is this one in the grand scheme? And it's one game out of 30, whatever. But
well, it's a huge opportunity for us to again erase, the loss at East Carolina. I mean that we were nobody was never pleased with any loss, but. We certainly felt like that was a road victory we could get. And so this is a huge opportunity for us to go down there and erase that one a little bit, because you're going to play against a nationally ranked team and, a good team. And obviously if you're going to try to stay in the race, you can't keep getting in the loss column. You got to keep getting wins. So, and it gives us a chance to give them a loss, which puts you one game back. So this is a huge game for us, huge opportunity for us. We got to make the most of it.
It's about the time of year when people start talking about resumes. Going forward in March, would this be the kind of resume win that you would star
yeah,
about
absolutely.
10 times?
You beat a ranked team, and SMU's won 16 out of 17. So you go win this game. That's a resume builder for you. It's a huge opportunity for our team, and I'm sure everybody in America, nobody in America probably thinks we can go do it, but we'll see.
How hard is it to put that East Carolina game behind you?
Yeah, you got to. I mean, there's nobody. Our staff's sick over it. I'm sure the players are sick over it. I mean, there's complete silence in the locker room afterwards because they were just stunned, I think, a little bit, and what our expectation was. And not to take anything away from East Carolina, they did their job and they gave themselves a chance to win. And but we've quickly got to we can't have just like you can't have a hangover and a win on Connecticut, and we did. We can't have a hangover in this one for the loss. We got to move on. You got to learn from your mistakes, lick your wounds, and you got to be ready to go do battle. Come Thursday night.
And Farad when you played him here, Farad had, I think, 18 points, and he shot the ball really well. It's important to get some of that perimeter scoring against those guys because of what they do inside.
Yeah, because they pack the lane in so tight. You're going to get some perimeter shots because they're not going to give you easy layups. I mean, you're going to have to work to get scores inside and to get layups against them. So the perimeter shot's going to be there some, and you got to make them. And if you go back and look at the film, I mean, Rod made some semi-contested shots. It wasn't like he was wide open, but he jumped up and made them. At East Carolina, had somebody jumped up and made a couple threes, we'd have won. That's the fact. And we just are three of our perimeter guys. We were 3 for 20 from the perimeter between three of our perimeter guys. Fraud had a pretty good game, but he got no help from the perimeter in terms of made shots. And they decided to play 2-3 zone, pack it in, and say, okay, let's see if you can make a shot. We did. And we baited a little bit into taking some semi-contested ones. We probably should have drove the ball a little bit more, got to the free throw line. And, again, in this game, you got to be careful because it's like playing against the zone, their man-to-man is, because, again, they help so much that you can end up just shooting all jump shots if you're not careful, and you can't do that. You got to drive the closeout when they close back out to you and get fouled. You got to run offense crisp enough to get the ball inside some, and, you got to get some in transition.
You mentioned that you don't think many people in the country think you guys can go to SMU and win. Do you think this team relishes those kind of opportunities when people kind of doubt them a little bit?
I mean, our history is the Bearcats play the best when they're doubted. Now we got a young group. Can they rise to it? Can they take that challenge? This group's going through every kind of experience right now. We're going through the experience of winning a big game and how do you handle that after. We're going through the experience of losing a tough one on the road that you didn't, you kind of thought you were going to win. How are we going to handle that? We're going to go into, probably the toughest environment that we've played in. Connecticut and NC State was a pretty tough environment, but this, because it's small and the people are right on top of you, this will be, a loud, tough environment, probably the toughest one we played in all year, because I think they'll have a packed house, and like I said, they're right on top of you. So, we'll see how we do.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks.